challenge for me. And not only that, but I get to help people to be successes. And that's one of the things that I really enjoy doing. I enjoy helping people be successful. And if you have that mentality, you will not only go far in your business, but you will go far in life. But more importantly, this is what I understand from living in Rome for 4 years. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Shock to all of you, even though most of you only know me for a few minutes, I'm kind of an extrovert. I know, let's drink that in for just a second. So we're standing there in line, and we started up a conversation with the flight attendant. And we're talking to her, and her name is Sharon. And we're talking and find out that Sharon is from Ohio. And you know what I said? I'm from Ohio. And she said, well, what part of Ohio? And I said, Columbus. And she says, I'm from Columbus. And I said, we made friend Sharon, the flight attendant. And she looks at me and she points and she says, Mr. Wagner, you come with me. And I said, I didn't do anything wrong. And she says, oh, yes, you did. I don't know what the people on the plane thought. Because with this face, I don't look like a terrorist, you know? So I got on, like she said, bring all your things. And so I brought my things. And she sat me and my friend Daniel in the first class seats. And so for the first time going home across the Atlantic, we got to sit in first class. And it was really great because usually, you know, he and I are both tall guys. As I mentioned, we're both crammed into our seats. Turned into first class seats and an ongoing friendship. And I'm happy to say I just added her as a friend on Facebook. Everything that I do revolves around relationships. And I believe, to the very core of my being, that it is relationships that form who we are. It gives us a context about our identity. It helps us to be successful. It teaches us how to love. And when we talk about business, we are talking about nothing less than a relationship. It is a different relationship than we have in our families, hopefully. It's a different relationship because we are trying to establish this relationship for the exchange of goods and services and money, but it is still a relationship. So relationships in business are the most important thing you can have for success. You can make other people successful. He says you yourself will be successful. How this networking thing really works if you have the right motivations and the right thoughts. Think about Google. Google is the greatest networker on the internet right now. It is the internet in some ways, except for the Facebook. Think about what Google does. 95% of what they do, they give away for free. 95%. And they are a multi-billion-dollar company. How does that work? And give in your relationships, you will get back tenfold. And that has been my experience in my own networking relationships. Now, I'm not saying that you give your product or your service away for free all the time. But I guarantee that if you have a mentality with the person you're sitting next to of saying, what can I do for you, instead of what you can do for me, all of a sudden, you will move from coach to business class. Extroverts are actually at a disadvantage when it comes to networking. Introverts, and I'm sure that there are a lot of introverts in the room, are actually at the advantage. Now, I know that seems backwards because this is what I would do. I would go to a Business First networking meeting down in Columbus. I'd meet 40, 50 people, get all their business cards, go home, and guess what I would do? Nothing. I would look at all these business cards and say, who in the heck are these people? I have no clue who these people are. I would go around the room, work that room, and it would be great. At the end of the day, I'd have nothing to show for it. Whereas my other friend would go in, and he was a very introverted guy, very quiet, and we're going to talk about the difference between those two things, and he would sit down and he'd meet one person, maybe two. And he'd sit there and he'd talk to that person for the whole hour. And at the end of the day, he would call that person. A couple days later, they would go out and have coffee. They would establish a great relationship. And all of a sudden, his network of friends and contributors was available to the new friend. And all of the network of the new friend was completely available to him. You see, the introvert isn't going to be the guy like myself or the woman like myself who's going to go in and just meet as many people as they can. That person is going to find themselves very alone at the end of the networking event. Whereas it is really important to establish the quality of relationship rather than the quantity of relationship. The difference between an extrovert and an introvert is I get my energy from outside of myself, from all of you. I'm getting an incredible amount of energy just talking to you guys right now. And when there's 1,000 people in the room, my head about pops off my body. Right? At St. Bridget, and when I was at St. Bridget, and I help sometimes at St. Brendan's. There's 1,000 or 1,200 people that come to Mass. It's pretty much like an adrenaline rush for an entire hour for me. It's great. But when everybody leaves, I lose all my energy. Whereas for an introvert, you find it from the inside. And I think that introverts, again, would have a harder time coming into this networking event, this type of networking event, than someone else, because the pressure is on, isn't it? The pressure is on to meet as many people as you can, to collect the business cards, to find out who your new clients are, those kinds of things. But let me assure the introverts in here, the ones that don't get the energy from outside of the room, the ones who are in fact drained by big crowds, that you actually have the advantage, because you will tend to recommend you find one of us extroverts and you latch on to us for the first 5 minutes, because we will leave you. I promise. I can't say that there's a lot of fidelity from us extroverts when it comes to networking, because we're the guys, and it's unfortunate, it's nothing personal, that we're always looking over the shoulder going, oh, I'm going to meet that person there, then I'm going to meet that person there, then I'm going to meet that person there. Just go with us till we meet the first person, then you can just let us go.